Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of the National Hispanic Coalition for Aviation Excellence Career Series podcast. I'm Freidy Lazala, your host. Today, we're highlighting a powerful journey of leadership, service, and mentorship in aviation. Joining me today is Jean Droz, aviation professional and leader with more than 17 years of experience. Jean, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Freidy. Good morning.
Morning. Can you start with sharing what aviation means to you?
Well, aviation started when I was at the age of 15. Teenager. I grew up nearby the airport with a grandparent who was a manager for the local airport in Ponce, Puerto Rico, as well as he lead a small Part 121 airline in the early 40s and 50s when he was in his prime age. And that inspired me to continue the aviation legacy that he gave me by starting with pilot, air traffic controller, and so far all the opportunities that I have gained throughout my career.
And being exposed to aviation so early in your career, I remember the first time I flew, I was 10 years old for a little vacation. I'm like, I'm in the skies. How do I get here, right?
Yes.
What keeps you passionate about the aviation field?
It's all the opportunities that you can see, because a lot of people think that aviation is just pilots and air traffic controllers, but there's a lot of things in the background. We have engineers, we have aerospace, we have tech people, we have managers, we have a variety of and diversity of opportunities that people really do not know because they're not exposed to the public on a daily basis.
That's true. When I was part of NADCA, I got to know a lot of line of businesses. You know, there were IT professionals, engineers. So I got to know, and then being myself in aerospace medicine, a lot of people don't know we have doctors and nurses and stuff like that. And on the conference that we have in Las Vegas, that high school had a lot of medical students. And they were like, well, why do I need to go and hear these FAA people, right? And when I told them I was in airspace medicine, they were locked in. They wanted to hear more. So you're absolutely right. We have so many careers in aviation that you can be a lawyer in AGC, real estate agents when we have new buildings. So you're absolutely right. You grew up in Puerto Rico, like you mentioned, discover aviation at a young age. Can you walk us through your early journey and educational path?
So, like I said, I started when I was 15 years old. My grandfather took me to the small airport in Ponce, Puerto Rico. The name is Mercedita Airport. There was a flight school there. And I told my parents, I told my grandfather, I want to go there and see what pilot means. I took a flight lesson. I love it, flying through the beautiful mountains of Puerto Rico, La Cordillera Central. And that passion me to see the life, to see my horizon from another perspective, because we always see it from the ground, but when you're upstairs, you have a 180-degree view that it's beyond the horizon. So I started there with at the age of 15. Throughout my career, I was working hard to earn hard money to get my hours. And then once I graduated from high school, I attended a 2-year college in Florida, in Melbourne, Florida Tech, as an aviation management with pilot degree. Being away from home was kind of a little bit difficult, but I returned back to the island and finished my last 3-year career or college degree in the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico, Bayamon campus, while working at the airport and gaining the experience I needed throughout my college degree. So it started, like I said, at the age of 15, continued throughout my career. I worked for MN Aviation, which is a Part 135 airline and cargo. I worked for Air Flamenco, which is a 121 small regional carrier down there. Cargo airlines, ramp agent. And then once I finished my degree, attended a HACU program in 2007 with the FAA. And that opens a lot of doors, which I always encourage people to attend a HACU program, because those are opportunities that not a lot of people knows, especially in the island, is not promoted. So once I did that, I finished, and then I started my air traffic control program with the FAA a few months later from finishing the internship.
Wow, that's quite a journey.
Yes,
Did you did you ever had any leadership roles in college? And if you did, how important is student involvement today?
I did. So when I was in Inter-American University, I became part of the student association, ASA organization down there with Inter-American University. And we also created the first student conference ever held in the aviation campus in Inter-American University. We had a lot of opportunities there. We had people from NASA. We have Olga Custodio, who came in to that conference. We had one of the astronauts. We had the Port Authority. We had the director of the Port Authority who came in and visited us, as well as professors that came in from the mainland and from the Inter-American University to give us some guidance, some talks to all the participants. That when that happened, I was the president. I held it for almost 2 years, and then before that, I was treasurer and secretary as well of the organization. And then once I finished that, I moved on to the mainland, and I was part of different aviation clubs surrounding the area in the Florida Tech area. That one I just held like lower leadership roles. So yeah, it was pretty often, and that's how I learned it throughout my career. And then also the attending the conference from the Hispanic Coalition.
And would you say on those roles, it helped you network and maybe help how to work with other people from different areas, different backgrounds? I'm assuming that that helped you in your career and become a better professional.
Absolutely. I always say, and when I attend the community events around here, when I do it, I always tell them that the conference leadership network helps you a lot, because you can see the perspective of another person of how they do their job, how they become a better person by learning from other people. One of my very inspired person is our friend John Espinosa. I watch his podcast most of the time, and I learn a lot of what leadership means in a daily basis. And I always encourage people that to listen to podcasts, read some books, and enjoy those times and show kindness, show a lot of the good things that you can show to people, because that makes you a better leader, that makes you a better person in the run.
Yeah, I can't remember who in one of our conferences spoke, but you're making deposits, right, on different things. I like to serve and I like to help people, right? And people will tend to remember, okay, this person helped me and generally cared about what was going on, whatever was going on. And at a later time, it might help you later on. That person might help you get a job or help you some way or another on your career or your personal life. So making those deposits throughout your life is very important.
And also another thing that to piggyback from that is, and it's a personal experience that I had back in 2007. I attended my first Hispanic Coalition conference and I believe it was in Las Vegas. And one person that really helped me a lot was Migdalia, our friend Migdalia. She was a speaker, and then when she finished, I asked her. She was talking about resumes, and I set aside and I said, "Hey, I'm a very young guy just starting my career and I want some help with this." And she helped me in that conference. 10 years later, 10 to 12 years later, I saw her at the conference in Seattle, and she was speaking. She finished, and I bring my daughter with me. And I told her, I said, "You probably don't remember me very well, but I told her, you helped me 10, 15 years ago with my resume, and that gave me a lot of opportunities." And since then, we have become a very good friends with leadership, with a lot of help that she's been providing me. So it's a good thing when you do networking like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love this coalition because people genuinely want to help and want to be
Yes.
there and help each other. So you're absolutely right. Your roles require working with teams, leadership, and trainees. What skills helped you succeed in a complex operational environment?
When I was in the air traffic control business, it's a lot of roles and a lot of skills combined into one moment or split seconds that we say. Everything is based on teamwork. Not one person can do everything at the same time. So we look each other and we care and we try to strive for perfectionism, if that's the word we can use right now. But sometimes, I can carry you when you need some help and vice versa. So in the roles that I have carried so far has taught me a lot of moments of perseverance, a lot of like keep going because it's not the end, and opportunities and doors that are being slammed in my face, and doors that have been opened for good. So a lot of times we say that opportunity comes and we don't see it, and opportunity comes and you see them and you take advantage of it. And one motto that I have in myself is like, that I always compare myself is that the GPS never says you're wrong. It says recalculating.
Hmm.
So your route goes, continue and you recalculate and then you change your way of doing it and you take the next exit. And that next exit is going to bring you brightest and brighter opportunities.
I love that mentality. Yeah, when one door closes, a window might be open to go through. So
Yes.
I wholeheartedly believe that. And everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe that also, like you mentioned, if one door closes, 10 of them will be open down the road.
Yep.
You're also very active with the National Hispanic Coalition. How has this organization supported you and other professionals in their growth? I know you mentioned Migdalia helping you with a resume that helped you out also, but also in your leadership roles on your chapter, you're very active, right? So how has this organization supported you and other professionals on their growth?
So I started in 2018 after being almost 2 years or a year and a half, I think it was, as a member. And I reached out to Lydia Gomez. I said, hey, I'm here available. I'm in El Paso. She was in Fort Worth, Texas. And I said, I'm willing to help you in any role that you need. I was asked if I would be her deputy. And from that moment, I learned a lot of skills, a lot of opportunities, roles that people don't see quite often in the background. We just see the front part of the book, which is like our faces and we're there. Can you need help? But in the back, there's a lot of things going on that people don't really see. So our opportunities have grown by helping other regions when their conferences. We all work as a family. La familia is, brothers and sisters that we work together. Because what we at the end, what we want is the outcome is to grow as an organization and to grow as individuals by working as a team. You
Mhm.
know, and a lot of times people ask me, they're like, "What they gonna give me? What is the coalition's gonna give me?" I said, "It's not what you get, it's what you gain," in a way that people needs to understand that there is a lot of opportunity, a lot of networking. You don't need to be a Hispanic. We have diversity of people. We have African American, we have Caucasians, we have Hispanics, we have Puerto Ricans, Latinos, and we are a family. And once you join, you see the bond that we create as a family. And that is the most important thing that I always get, that no matter where I am, I'm right now in Fort Worth, and I can reach out to you, Freidy, and you have maybe an advice for me, or we said, you know what, Gene, I don't have anything available for you on my aviation medicines, but I know somebody who's looking for a program analyst that has aviation, air traffic control or aviation management experience. And then you connect me with that person. I can reach out to the West Coast and I can go to Nat and say, Nat, I'm having problem with this, and I need a uh, a help with it. And out of nowhere, Nat comes in and makes some phone calls, and then I get what I needed. So it's just all the connections that we have from East Coast to West Coast to the North side to all the way down to the south side of the United States, the Caribbean. It's a familia, and that's what I like about it.
Absolutely. For me here, if we don't get involved, especially in the FAA, we just sit in a cubicle and just do our job and go back home. But this job, as an RCD, I had to talk to people, had to get to know them, see what they do, what they don't do. And by learning what other people's positions and what they do at their jobs, I'm able to make different connections, either with students or another professional. I was just at a veterans event, and I met two veterans with a lot of avionics experience. And down the hall, one of the managers told me, "Hey, we're on the spot hiring for avionics maintenance people." So I sent them their resume. We'll see how it goes. But if you don't talk to people, see what's going on, and people don't feel comfortable coming to you, say, "Hey, if you hear or know people that can qualify for the position," then you'll never know. So absolutely, networking, getting to know people definitely helps. 2025, you transitioned from federal service. What led you to that decision, and what excites you about the future?
The future is very promoted. That told me a lot of decision in the private side, family wise, being in the aviation I'm sorry, the air traffic controller for 18 years or closer to 18 years. Let me take to a point that I said I need to explore and open my horizon beyond what I'm doing right now. Uh, it was not a easy decision. I consulted very hard with myself, with in private, and now I'm getting some certifications. I just recently passed my airline dispatch training 2 days ago. And now I'm opening opportunities as an instructor. I try to get to the airline business to start airline dispatching, which is something that passions me because it's becomes a lot of blogs that makes the aviation on the private side. Not a lot of people think that they do. When you ask for who does your flight plan, a lot of people say is the pilot, but in reality, is the airline dispatcher who is doing all the paperwork and working together with the pilot. And when the pilot comes in, all the paperwork, all the homework is done for him, and he has to focus on the main thing, which is safety, and it's flying the airplane. And we work together, pilots in command, which is PIC, and also the airline dispatcher, which is like the captain, but in the ground. You have the captain in the airplane, you have the captain in the ground, which is the airline dispatcher. I'm also looking into other opportunities to teach the high schoolers. Is another opportunity, another door that opens to me just recently. And I'm working with a professor for here in the high school who is in the TCC community college here in the Tarrant County area in Fort Worth, Texas. So I'm trying to get to expand my horizons, my expertise to a lot of people because we need to grow the aviation to show the world that federal employees are not only just that employees and that's it and then go home. We are experts, are aviation people who are passionate for what we do, but at the same time, we can grow these new generations that are going to be replacing us instead of being replaced by AI. And we don't want it. So the point, I think, we should not be replaced by AI. We should be working together to grow this new generation that is coming to replace us in the future by telling them all the opportunities. When I go to the communities, when I go to the career days, I told especially the young ladies, you have to understand that the female workforce in the aviation is not even in the double digits yet. We have a male workforce in the higher double digits. So we need to make that opportunity for girls to see like I can become a pilot, I can become an aviation engineer, I can become an astronaut, I can become a aviation maintenance person, I can become an aviation medicine person. Stop that stereotype that only men can do pilot, only men can do air traffic controllers, and so and so. And I always tell them like the sky's the limit. You need to ensure that a lot of times you can do it and not let people tell you there's nothing you can do. And I told that to my daughter. Don't let nobody tell you that you cannot do something. Show them that you are fearless, that you are strong, and that you are passionate for what you do. And that's what we need to do.
Absolutely. And that hits hard because now I have a 1-year-old daughter. So I'm like creating the space for her now in aviation So she
Yes.
can thrive. And she's not the only one in the room or the first one in the room. She's one of the many in the room, right?
Yes.
So absolutely, absolutely. And for the flight dispatcher, you guys do weather also for the pilots or
Yeah, we do everything. We do from flight planning, we do weather. We read all
great.
the weather for them. We let them know whether they can depart, they can land, they need another airport because their destination weather is kind of good or it's not going to be good and they need to divert to another airport. So we do a lot of like the homework part of it because what we want is for them to focus on the safety of flying the airplane. Okay. So a lot of times
Sounds
we do
sounds like a
a lot of
very,
work.
very important and safety oriented job. So it sounds very interesting.
Yeah, and I look forward. Like I said, I just finished my training and my tests, and I look forward when I start this journey. I was a little nervous, but with my family support, my friends, and my instructor, they were like, "You can do this," and I did it. I put it myself. I study hard every night. I went to read the books. I went to my test with determination that said, this is what I want to do. This is my new career or my new opportunity, my new door to be open. And I'm looking forward to do that job 100% safe and expeditious and ensure that everybody that rely on me is trusting that what I'm giving them is going to be the best of my ability.
And here's an example of why Hispanic Coalition is so important to us and networking, because now I'm going to bring you to the LPA Expo where all the pilots and the airlines are going to be. So you can talk to them and say, hey, I want a job with Delta or American Airlines or something. So
Yes.
clear your schedule for September. I'm going to bring you to Orlando, okay?
Definitely. I'm looking forward for that. We just recently had a woman in aviation in Fort Worth. I wasn't unable to attend, but our friend Karen was there and it was a lot of networking. I heard, I haven't completely talked to her about what opportunities was available, but I heard from other sources, including my instructor in the airline dispatch. He's like, I saw your organization there and I approached them, but I want you to bring me some more information. So I am looking forward. I was yesterday when I heard it. So I was there and I'm glad that our organization was noticed by a lot of people. And I
That's
know
great.
Karen did a very good job on it. And I look forward with all these opportunities that are coming, that our organization is growing to ensure that the coalition not only grows from the federal sector, but also now that we are open to all the sectors, that people know that we are there and we can be a very good source for them.
Absolutely. Well, Gene, thank you for sharing your story and perspective. Thoroughly enjoy our conversation today. A lot of people will get a lot of knowledge and information from the podcast. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for all that information and insight. For our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode and want to connect with more aviation professional, consider joining the National Hispanic Coalition. Visit us at www.nhcfae.org to learn more. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode of our career series. Thank you,
Thank you.
Gene.
Thank you, Freidy. Have a good one.